Hi YouTube, my name is Christian Bunsell, and today I'm coming back with another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a realistic ocean/water scene in 3ds Max. Now, creating water scenes and animating water is, for me, a lot hard because, you know, it's just getting the movement to look natural and right. And there's a lot of plugins out there, but I've actually found a really cool one, and it's called Hot for Max. And if you search it on Google, you get this code link right here, and just go click on it. This might take a little while, and you go to downloads, and as you can see, we have our 3 builds here, and just find your version of 3ds Max. There's support for 2012 and there's support for 2011, and it's a pretty small file, and it's the one really good thing about Hot for Max is that it's free. It's awesome, and it's one of the best free plugins I've ever used in 3ds Max. So just download that and get it installed, and go into 3ds Max now, and let's just go to our perspective view, and I'll just zoom out a little bit here. So what I'm going to do first is go to my create panel and just create a simple plane, and you want to make this pretty big because you want enough space for your ocean to simulate, and we'll get into that later. So we have that. Pretty simple, and I'm just going to change the color because it's ocean themed. Just change it to that, and it's good. Alright, so we'll just zoom out here a little bit because we want a little space, and I'll just rotate my camera a little bit. Alright, that's good. And this is just a simple plane. This is like, if you don't know how to do a lot of this, you should probably watch some basic 3ds Max tutorials, but we're going to be going through some of the basic parts pretty quickly, so hopefully you'll be able to catch on. Alright, so now we're going to go from our create panel to our modify panel. And we have our plane selected. We go to our modifier list, go down, and we see Houdini Ocean here. And we just click on that, and as you can see, nothing's happened at all. That's because if we go over to right here, we need to change our settings. So the first thing I'm going to do is change my resolution to about 21. That'll change how it looks. So it looks a little bit better there. And now what we're going to do is you can play with these settings and see what you like. I have some good settings for what I like to do, which is just create a basic wave movement. But it depends on what kind of ocean you're creating. And the only thing you don't want to mess with right now is time, because I'm going to get into time later, and time will basically be what you do to keyframe the movement of the ocean. So just mess around with your properties here, and I'll come back once I found something that I like to use. And you know, this could take a while for anybody because you want to get this looking really nice because this is a powerful plugin. So I'll be back. Okay, so now we have our settings pretty well. I think they look good. So right now I'm just going to go ahead and set up how my perspective is going to be, because kind of want this pointing towards the sky, so we'll just kind of angle it up like that. And let me just go to render this and make sure. Okay, that looks pretty good. Alright, so now we have that. So the first thing is that doesn't do anything. It's not animated. So what we're going to do is make sure your time is set at 0. I told you not to mess with that. So we'll hit auto key over here, and it's at 0 here, but now let's go to 300 or whatever the end of your composition is, and we'll change the time to about 32. And this is how fast the waves will move, but it depends on your time and what look you're going for. So we'll set it to about 32 for mine. So if we just turn auto key off so we don't mess anything up, we can see the wave looks pretty good. Let's just play this, and as you can see, it just kind of speeds up and then slows down, and that's because we have a timer map problem. So have this plane selected and go into your graph editor and track view curve, and if we just go down to modified object, Houdini Ocean, and go even further down and we go into time, we can see that the curve is curved. So we don't really want that, so we'll just go ahead and we're gonna just get this clicker here and just select your whole curve, and then you can see this linear segment here, and we'll just click that. It's linear now. So if we go back, it's a constant speed, and really that's the way it should be. because oceans don't really look very natural otherwise. So now what we're going to do is make a light in the scene. And a light will really help improve some of the stuff it'll make it look a lot better. So we're going to go and we're going to get our light. And you can use whatever kind of light you want, but I'm going to use a daylight system. Yes, and I'm going to go to a different view because it's very hard to edit these in perspective view. So I'll just drag it here and just drag it up. Looks pretty good. Alright, so we have that, and I'm going to just unclick so I don't create any more lights that I don't want to create, and go in our perspective view, and we'll render it again because I'm just going to be showing you. And now it just looks very washed out, like it's on the face of the sun. And we'll fix this later, but right now we're not going to mess with this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply a special material to our waves, so that way it looks a lot better. So we'll just press M on our keyboards, and that'll bring up the material editor. And the material editor is where we're going to be making the best touches on our little sea scene here. So you want to find the Arken Design materials. And okay, so now that we've applied our Arken Design material, we have this beautiful sea scene here, and it looks awesome. The reflections are coming off and everything, and it looks good. But we have this gray spot, and we also have some issues that you might have. So first issue you might have is that you don't have mental ray selected as your default renderer, and that can allow you not to find the Arken Design plugin. So just go to render setup and go to the very bottom here and just go to assign renderer, and for production just make sure it's hit on mental ray, and that'll be good. And it's already on mental ray, so it won't show it for me. So we have all that, and everything so far is coming together, but we have a couple problems. So the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to go back into my 4-way view, select my light, and just make sure that you have sunlight selected as MR Sun and skylight selected as MR Sky. And make sure your position is on manual, and that will allow you to manually edit it. And those are some common mistakes people might make, and I thought they were obvious, but then I thought over it and I was like, some people don't know, so I have to put that in there. So the next thing we're going to do is fix these gray areas that we get when we render it, and doesn't look very good. So I'll fix that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my skylight parameters, and I'm just going to scroll down here, and there's a lot of stuff you can kind of mess with, but first thing is I'm going to turn on the multiplier to 2.5, and that'll make the water look like it's not really just sitting on the face of the sun here. And if we render that back in this view, if we render that in that view, it looks better. It takes a little longer, but it looks better, and that's looks better. So let's just go back to our light here and go back to our modifiers. Okay, so now that we go to our Mr. Sky advanced parameters, we have all of this, and you want the height to be negative. And it may sound weird because generally when doing 3D, negative values are frowned upon, but really this will help you render a lot, and that'll lower the sky. So we'll just go back to this, and we will just quickly render it out. And as you can see, the sky is in the background and everything as it should be. So now this is the part where I can't teach you how to do it, because mainly it's just about your settings and what you want to do. And your settings may be different from mine, because mine are, I'm not even going to say it again, I've said it so much, but let's just get on with the rest of it, and I'm just going to be walking you through some of your render settings and what you should be rendering out as. So the first thing, all of this is good, and you can actually extend this sea out to make it look like it's extending off into the distance, not just quitting, but it's just extending the sea. It's just extending your plane, and it'll account for that. But we have this light, and you can rotate it so that way it just kind of falls off into the camera here. So we have perspective here, and we'll just lower that. And if you lower the light, angle it down, right right there. And as you can see, if we render that out, it's dark. And that's because I placed it wrong, but I'll just hopefully undo all of that because that was really stupid. It's all that. Alright, so that's good. Alright, so looking good again. And that's alright. And let's go to our perspective view here. And that's pretty much done. Your waves are moving, everything's looking good. And just go to our render setup here. And render it as what you normally have, but make sure that it's an active time segment, because otherwise you're going to end up with something that's really, it's just one frame, and that's going to really suck. But yeah, this is all really good, and you can take it in After Effects and apply a blur so that way the background has some depth. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for watching my tutorial. Please subscribe and follow me on Twitter. So this is Christian Munsell saying goodbye.